So a bit of an early finish to this weekend's Taupō Super 317.7. So welcome to this weekend's round review for the Supercars Championship. Round 3 is over and done with at the Taupō Motorsport Park, the first of 2 rounds here in New Zealand. Now, you're probably wondering why there was only 2 races and not 3 races if you aren't in the know. Well, the North Island is about to be, probably as I record this, hit by Cyclone Vaianu. It is a cyclone that has come from the Fiji region and is coming down to the North Island of New Zealand, and because of poor timing, it came at the exact same time as the Supercars weekend at the North Island, and there is a local state of emergency up there right now in the Waikato region, hence why Sunday's racing had to be cancelled. So everybody stay safe up in the North Island. If you can, get whatever you need. And as for the champions of the New Zealand Championships, congratulations to Chris White Jr. of the Toyota 86s, Angus Fogg in the Central Muscle Cars, and also Caleb Byers in the TA2 New Zealand Championship. All those 3 were finished up in this weekend. But what about Supercars? Well, they did get 2 races under their belts, a 120k race and a 200k race, and I'm going to go over all the drivers and how they did over the weekend. So stick around to see how your favourite driver did, and if you like this video and you want to see more round reviews and Supercars content in general, give a like and a subscribe wherever you press that button. The support would be very much appreciated. And also follow me on TikTok and Instagram and even Facebook if you want to get up-to-date news about the sport and maybe even some other motorsports like NASCAR and some other stuff. So random team order, no order very specifically. I'm going to start with Walkinshaw TWG Racing. Now they had a hell of a weekend for their 3rd round in the Toyota, starting with Chaz Mostert. He was a part of the podium in the 2nd race, and for whatever reason in the 1st race he slid down the order a bit. There was also a bit of niggle and not only inter-team but also with the rival team. You had Brock Feeney and him bashing down the straight in race 1. Don't know why and I don't know how you can hit like 3 or 4 times down the back straight, but hey, it happened. And there was also a weird moment where Ryan Wood, even though he got the faster pit stop and he had the better track position, came out behind Chaz Mostert. So I mean, he wasn't going to fight him hard anyway, but he still managed to get a 3rd place position in that 2nd race. And Ryan Wood, well, he's becoming the saviour of Toyota at the moment, because not only did he get the first podium in the last round at Albert Park, but he also managed to get the first pole in the 2nd race at Taupō and also the first win in that race as well. It is the quickest a new manufacturer has won in the modern era, beating Volvo's record of about 14 races. I think Ryan only needed 9 races. Currently sitting at the top of the JR Trophy with a 3rd and a 1st, so he got a double podium result. He had quite a good scrap with Ryan Wood in that 1st race, and they were both smiling as they got out of the car, so there was no harm there. Blanchard Racing Team had a decent weekend, all things considered, because Aaron Cameron actually finished the race without dramas. Not the 1st race though. The 1st race he's got involved with Kai Allen, who had steering damage, and he also got massive steering damage as well. So he finished down the order in the 1st race. 2nd race, qualified 14th, finished 15th. So yes, it's down from what he has been qualifying in the last lot of races, but hey, at least he finished a race without any sort of drama, spins or accidents. James Golding was holding up the fort for BRT though. 2 top 10s, very good. Sitting in the top 10 of the championship, also very good. He has been the signing of the season, I think. He has really starred in that number 7 car. Last year with James Courtney, this car was at the back of the grid alongside the rookie Aaron Cameron, but he has made some leaps and bounds in the 7 car. Yes, the AAA alliance with that team helped, but the new norm is starting and finishing around the top 10 area. Anything after that is a bit of a failure. I just realised I didn't turn on my light, so everything else from this point onwards will be illuminated. The next one is Jack LeBrock and Matt Stone Racing. Once again, they are the consistent Chevy drivers on the grid. Consistently been the second lowest or second best Chevy, sorry, and he has been fighting for the top 10 positions all weekend. He consistently qualified 11th twice, and he consistently finished in or around the top 10. Zach Bates, well, he would have just been happy that he didn't tear up a car. Consistent results, nothing too spectacular, quite the norm of this crop of rookies so far this year, just finishing around, well, his best result was 17th. Tickford and Cameron Waters, they were leading the team's points going into this weekend. Leaving this weekend, they're 4th, so it shows how, frankly, shit this weekend was for Tickford. Cameron Waters, he didn't really have any good speed. He got a speeding penalty, so that finished his top 10 streak that he was going on. And the second race wasn't anything spectacular. He finished up 9th. Thomas Randall in the new livery for the fortnight, he didn't really have any speed either, and he came off that 6 hour, which he won, so that was quite a bit disappointing. That first stint in that second race was very, very dreary, you could say, because he just sunk like a stone, and a very heavy stone for that matter. He didn't really go anywhere once those tyres went kaput. BJR, they had a bit of an averagely consistent weekend, you could say. They're running around where they did run in the Chevy, so in the new gear hasn't really hurt them. Although Andre Heimgarten, considering his hometown form, he didn't really do much, a pair of 12ths. It wasn't really much showing for Andre. He was consistently, quite easily, the 3rd of the Kiwis on the grid. Cameron Hill, not really much to talk about. Solid qualifying pace, really aggressive race pace, but he did show it. Although, yeah, actually the quali speed was actually quite terrible. Although at least the livery looked good. And Macaulay Jones, a 16th and an 18th. Now, for any other driver, this would be terrible, but Macaulay Jones is showing decent race pace throughout this whole of 2026. He has gotten a good amount of top 10s, 3 for his standards. He's not running in the 20s as often consistently. Yes, it's only been 3 rounds, but I've actually been quite impressed with Macca. It's a good thing to see from Macaulay Jones as he is becoming a bit of a veteran, honestly. He's been running since 2019. Yeah, that's a long time ago. Erebus Motorsport, frankly, it was a dreadful weekend for Erebus. Job Stewart has not really excelled at all this year. Yes, he got into that accident at race 1, which was bad luck, but he's also had bad quali speed, but the race pace hasn't been there either. He's a rookie, you got to give him time, trust me. The last thing I want to see is a rookie bounced after 1 year, and I think that's the same thinking that Barry Reiner and Betty Clemenco are also in that boat. Otherwise, they would have got rid of Cooper Murray after that last season. So you give him time, and he will show speed. It'll just take time, just not this weekend. Cooper Murray, yes, he did finish 13th in one race, so that's good, avoiding the shit, which is a considerable improvement from the Albert Park last weekend, where he couldn't really get out of the shit. Jackson Walls, qualifying in race 1 was pretty good, qualifying mid-pack, but the race pace was unfortunately off, a 22nd in the first race and steering damage in the second race, which really dropped him down the order. It is a shame because, remember, this is a 888 car and he is running here. Again, he's a rookie, you've got to give him time, but rookies in 888 equipment can excel. Brock Feeney finished 6th in his first year in the championship and won a race. Dick Johnson Racing was a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde sort of weekend. Bro Kostecki absolutely ripped apart the field in the first race. 16 seconds, he won. That second race they gambled, left him out on the second stint a bit later to try and wait for a bit of wet weather that was coming in, but ultimately finishing 6th is still a good salvageable weekend for Brody. As for Rylan Gray, he needs quali speed. There was a bit of a DJR sandwich in the first race because Brody Kostecki was at the top of the order and Rylan Gray was at the back of the order. The race pace is good though. He is finishing races quite mid-pack. It's just the quali speed he needs to find. But again, I'm going to say this for all the rookies, give them time. The race pace is there, which is a positive thing to see. Team 18, very difficult weekend for Chevrolet as a whole. Anton De Pasquale was easily the best at Chevrolet of the weekend between him and Jack LeBrock, but he was constantly in or around the back half of the top 10, so he wasn't really showing the speed that you would say the top Chevrolet should be showing. In fact, this is probably the worst showing for a GM product since the Holdens of the Group A era, and that was dominated by Sierras and later Skylines. As for David Reynolds, getting close to that 500th race, race 1 the speed was there, he did finish 10th. Race 2 however was not a good result from David. So much so that I've actually forgotten where he finished in race 2, that was how unremarkable it was. Matt Payne, consistent pair of top 5s, that's probably what you want to see. He is still in the hunt for the JR Trophy, trying to get it back to back. He didn't cause any dramas. Yes, he won 2 races last year, so it's a bit of a step back from last year's results, but hey, it's still pretty good from Matt Payne, who has had a lot of questions about his future. Kai Allen, he had a hell of a weekend. Race 1 was a disaster. He got steering damage on lap 1 after contact early and managed to cause a bit of an accident when he clipped Aaron Cameron, and Job Stewart ended up in the front of Cameron. So race 1 was right off. Race 2, he finished 8th, so he managed to salvage the weekend, getting a top 10. This is becoming the norm for Kai Allen. If he doesn't finish inside the top 10, there is something wrong with what happened in the weekend. Premier Racing, nothing spectacular from these two, although Jaden Ojeda did show good speed in race 1 until he buggered it up going down into the hairpin. Managed to accidentally take out Cameron Waters, so his race went from bad to worse quite quickly, and the Juice got a 15-second penalty, but a 14th in the next race did fix that. Declan Fraser, nothing spectacular from Decker, but he also got a 14th, and a quiet run with these good consistent results is probably what Declan and that team needs. Nothing spectacular, yes, but he is not getting in drama shit and causing damage. So remember, he has been out of these cars for a few years now, so it's good to see Decker get these consistent results, and a top 10 will come his way in time. And finally, Triple Eight, Brock Feeney, a 2nd and a 4th. It was a weird weekend for Brock because he had a bit of weird engine cutout in the first race. He had that battle with Mostert. He went off the road a few times as well. Yes, he managed to muscle up to 2nd and get close to Ryan Wood, but overall, he's probably lucky that it's been over 2 weekends, the JR Trophy, because it wasn't a spectacular weekend, if you can say. That's the problem with Brock Feeney. He's got such high standards because he's so freaking good. As for Will Brown, I'm going to say it was a positive weekend for Will. Yes, the race results are exactly the same as his teammate, but that's probably what he needs. The same or better results than Brock. And his quality results weren't terrible. He managed to qualify up in the top 5 in both races. So for someone that struggled to qualify inside the top 10 not too long ago, it's quite good seeing Will Brown in that Triple Eight car back up the front consistently. This is sort of like his 2024 form where he consistently got the good results flowing and a podium every round. Granted, he didn't get a podium in the first round, but still. As for how the points look, Brody Kostecki's still on top, but it's quite tight between him and Brock Feeney. 657 compares to 638. I'm reading it off my list, that's why I'm looking down. Third is Matt Payne on 569. That's a long way down for Matty Payne, and there's a bit of a gap. Then you've got Cameron Waters, honestly lucky to still be in 4th. Ryan Wood is in 5th, so that's very good from a first year for Toyota. They are my star pick for the weekend. Then you've got Anton De Pasquale still holding up the flag for the bow ties. Chaz Mostert, who has become a bit of a second driver in that team somehow. Jack LeBrock still doing well in 8th. Will Brown salvaging his terrible start to the season in 9th, and Jimmy Golding holding up the BRT flag in 10th. And there's a bit of a gap for the bubble because 30 or so points back is Kai Allen, then another big gap between he and Thomas Randall, and then very short gaps between David Reynolds, Cameron Hill and Andre Heimgartner. So that has been the Taupō Super 440, or whatever it was, the 317.7. Next weekend they'll be racing at Ruapuna, and I've got a video between now and then talking about the track if you aren't aware of Ruapuna and its history and facts. So stick around for that during the week. But while you wait for that video, check out one of these two videos beside me. No idea what the algorithm will pick for that sort of content beside me. And I'll see you in the next video, whenever that may be. Well, it's going to be midweek, so see you midweek.